And Esteban, never forget where you're coming from.
I know, that's the most important.
That's the most important thing.
Yes.
That's one of their lyrics.
It's a lyric. He's not just giving you a motivational speech, but...
That is an important one. And if one day I forget, where I'm coming from, I allow you to give me a slap. So my ideas come back straight. Okay?
Hello and welcome back to The Fast and the Curious, and welcome to London's O2. We have just been inside the arena watching F175, so also welcome to the big old debrief. I'm Betty Glover and this is Christian Hugill.
And after bringing you on our first 2 episodes, Norris, Piastri...
Lewis is home, baby.
Hello,
He
sir.
is.
Yes.
Lewis is home.
He looks
He
good
is.
in red as well.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you to you. Good evening.
On he goes.
Somebody's had a couple of shandies there. As I
And
was
I
saying...
smelt it as well,
Oh, you
actually.
could smell it?
I could smell that.
Oh, you could smell it. Where was I? After bringing you Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, Jenson Button, Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon in our first 2 episodes, we thought we would bring you a couple more Formula One drivers on the way. You will hear from Lance Stroll and Esteban Ocon. But first, as Betty says, we're at the O2. So, of course, we've got to debrief F1's shiny, glitzy F175 launch for its 75th season. Betty, what did you think?
Do you know what? I had sort of low expectations. I think I can say
that's
that,
fair.
can't I? But I loved it. I thought it was so good. As someone sat in the arena watching it, I thought everything sort of ran perfectly. Shout out to Jack Whitehall, because I thought he was brilliant and he was very funny and he did a little bit of roasting as well, which we've always got to like, don't we? But the main bit for me, my favourite bit, James Vowles. He's an icon.
Oh my God, there's so much to talk about.
The way he strides onto that stage with a microphone in hand and just owns it and presents his car on his own.
Okay, so we liked that team principals, so these are engineers or businessmen, sort of bowled onto the O2 arena, one of the biggest stages in the world, and acted like presenters. That's hilarious.
And between friends, they're geeky men. They're quite
Yes.
geeky, aren't they? So when they're walking on stage in their like shirts with their button undone,
Hello.
strolling on, I was like, do you know what, James? Love it.
You mentioned Jack Whitehall, newest stuff, like really newest stuff. He'd done his research, clearly. There was some F1 in-jokes that I enjoyed. He was very funny. That's
he was
not
good.
an easy gig. So big up Jack Whitehall. I mean, I'm sure he needs praise from me, but that was absolutely, he nailed it.
He's done bigger things, hasn't he?
He's done bigger things, but that was really funny. He was
good.
great.
He was good.
We enjoyed the team principals. We also, I mean, you can't avoid... Oh, right, okay. It's a British event. Well, it's a global event based in Britain.
Yeah.
Oh, we're about to be kicked out. Here we are at the O2. That's a safety and security announcement. We'll press on. But the reception for Red Bull and Christian Horner, like the
Oh, it was
boos in the
awkward.
arena. Goodness me.
It was one of those moments where you were like, oh my God, I actually can't look at this. This is like shocking. It was so awkward. And I'm sure it was awkward if you were watching on TV as well. It was just so uncomfortable to witness. But we can carry on talking about this in a moment. But should we cue into our first interview?
I think we should cue into our first interview, yes, to use the industry technical term, which I enjoyed. We'll have more F175 reaction in just a moment, but we've not just been sat in the arena eating popcorn. Thank you for buying popcorn, by the way. I really
You're
appreciated
welcome.
it.
I'll
We've not
invoice
just
you.
been sat there doing that. We've actually been here all day, and we thought, why not talk to a couple of Formula One drivers, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. So we thought we'd welcome back on the podcast, the one and only Esteban Ocon. Esteban Ocon, welcome to The Fast and the Curious. I've got to start by just saying how much I love your trainers.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I try to be, matching colors, red and black. The watch as well.
Stunning.
Oh, and the matching watch.
So yeah, I'm trying my best.
Your team are buzzing because you clearly got the sponsor in there straight away. Look at the watch. And how are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's been a busy week, but a very exciting one, so yeah, all good.
Esteban, F1's never done anything like this before, launching a new season. Exciting for you, being a part of a new team. You're already colour coordinated, so it's going brilliantly well. We want to run through the music acts with you. Firstly, Take That. Are you a Take That fan?
Who's that? Sorry.
Can't say his
I'm
name.
not.
You must know who Take That are.
Take
Okay,
That,
what
no.
Take That song could we do?
Can I have a little
Patience.
Mate,
I
that's
do
who-
have patience, so
that's
keep
good.
singing.
So they were like a British boy band
Okay.
in the 90s. Then they
Alright.
went away for a bit, like boy bands do.
Okay.
Then they
okay.
reformed. Then now they're sort of a more mature gentleman band rather than
Okay.
a boy band.
I'm not too familiar. I'm sorry with
They're,
it.
they're the
so-
headline act tonight.
Okay. Well,
So-
maybe I'm gonna love it, but I don't think I've ever heard about it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, we need to next time you come back on get your reviews on
Yeah.
Take That. Esteban Ocon
Okay.
reviews.
I will let you know.
Who would you, if you were doing a big launch and we're going to book an act, like who would you book?
Coldplay. Probably.
Coldplay.
Yes,
Coldplay
I mean
would be mega.
close. They're quite similar to Take That, aren't they?
Coldplay, U2, something nice, something that everybody would love, really.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so Greg James is the third presenter on this podcast. He can't be here today, but he's a huge Coldplay fan.
All right.
So he'd support. And you've actually been on The Fast and the Curious with us before. You were on our first ever episode. We were running around the Silverstone shakedown. And Alpine were testing.
Yes.
And Greg bowled up to you and went, Esteban. So we're now in year 3. And we tried to get you back on before.
Yes.
But Alpine wouldn't let us. But fortunately, Stuart Haas is lovely wherever Stu's gone.
Stu's brilliant. So
Stu's
Stu's
brilliant
great.
and has let us. So we're delighted to have you back on. And how are you settling into your new surroundings?
yeah, very well, very well. Yeah, this team really feels like a big family, which is a big thing. You know, I really feel like I got a great atmosphere and great people that are, you know, willing to help and really want to do well and progress. So it's it's great to be, you know, just starting from fresh and going again with people that are really motivated. So it feels good.
Are you looking at it as like a bit of a fresh start, sort of a time for you to sort of re-establish yourself and I don't know, maybe achieve things that you are yet to achieve?
Yeah, that's definitely what I'm looking for. You know, it's a fresh start, as you said. It's something that I've been, you know, waiting for a long time. It's an exciting challenge, you know, at this part of my career, and I hope that this is gonna take us to the next step, and hopefully, you know, this new partnership will fulfill, you know, my dreams, and great things will come, but only time will tell.
We were talking to Carlos Sainz the other day, who's also moved teams. And I realised something as we were talking, that I don't think I could ever move teams if I raced for a particular team, because I'm awful at remembering names. And the way I tend to go about it is everybody is go on what they're wearing, but everybody wears the same
Yes,
clothes.
yes.
How are you finding remembering names? Is that a strength of yours when you've moved into new surroundings?
It's not an easy thing, you know, and especially when you have to remember, you know, more or less it's 100 people on site, you know, on the race team. So it's very difficult, but with time it comes. You know, I start to get to know everyone's name now around, you know, my side of the garage, which is already a good start. But you know, with the time I will be able to know. But the worst thing is when you call someone the name you thought and
Oh,
then it was the
God.
wrong name. That's so embarrassing.
I go
but-
for mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate, buddy.
Yeah, pal.
Pal. Yeah, exactly. But no. It's the minimum, you know, that you can do, and of course, you know, it's very important to try and know everyone, and also what they do into their life as well, what they're up to, what they like as a passion. You know, we are trying to build a family here. It's very important to be working and knowing everyone, you know, by heart. But as I've just joined and we've drove 2 times, you know, together. It's very new, so let's see how it goes.
One of my favourite things about you is when we went to our first Silverstone as a podcast.
What, the shakedown?
No, the actual Silverstone
race.
Grand Prix, the race. We got a little tour in the like Alpine treehouse or whatever it's called, and we got taken into your room, right?
Yeah.
You weren't there, but we were in your.
What did you find?
Room.
Sorry.
We found all sorts. No, so what I noticed is on
That's
your.
why I saw some stuff missing. That was from you then.
Yeah,
Betty, you have to
sorry.
watch
All right.
it. You
It's on-
really do.
It's on eBay. No,
Okay, thank you.
we saw on your wall that you'd stuck like fan letters and
Yes.
stuff from fans, and there were loads there,
It's
weren't
adorable.
there? Do you take them with you and do
Yeah.
you stick them?
Yeah, it's always. I end up with having an extra suitcase by mid-season. You know, the team hates me for that normally. I think that will not change again. But I basically collect all the fan letters, the fan gifts, and I keep them. You know, I bring them back to to my place, and it's something that's been made with love and is very important, to me. And I would be an awful person if I was just throwing it away. So it does weigh a lot by mid-season, I can tell you.
Well,
but it's
I don't know, because
awesome.
F1's such a unique sport in that, like, fans, and granted it's very few lucky ones, but they do get to go in the paddock. Like, we're both football fans. You don't see that with football, do you?
No.
You don't have fans going around the footballers before a race. So it would be sort of easy to think that you just get given a wristband or something and chuck it. But we've seen the proof of this, that you genuinely keep all of it. That's
but
really sweet.
some of the letters, and they're super kind words and a lot of support, and when you're having a difficult time, so it's not going as you want, sometimes you just read a couple of lines, and you realize that it's important, and you get supported by a lot of people. And it definitely cheers you up, and you go again, flat out.
I was going to say it must be really nice to look at those letters when you're going through a slightly difficult time, things aren't going your way, and then you're like, actually this is almost bigger than me. Like, there's so many people out there that
absolutely.
are supporting you.
Yes, and that's also why I wanted to start my YouTube channel, give a little bit more to the people that have been following me.
Go on, plug it.
Yeah, I mean...
What's it called?
It's called Esteban Ocon.
Great name.
My
great
channel,
Great
so-
name. Solid name.
Sorry.
It's really good.
But I've been able to... I've just released one video at the moment, but there's going to be a few more coming, and just following me, along my journey, and things that, nobody has ever seen before, this part of my personality. And it's a really cool project, and something that I've always been wanting to do. So I hope that you will like it. So let me know.
We'll
what do you think?
subscribe.
Yeah,
Thank
definitely.
you very
like
much.
The Fast and the Curious channel will subscribe as well.
Yes, exactly.
You mentioned being given stuff from fans. Like, be honest with us here. We're away from the F1 media thing. Be honest. Like, F1 drivers get given cool stuff sometimes. It's a perk of the job. It's not the best part of the job. That's the racing. But what's the best thing you've ever been given? What's the best freebie?
Well, recently was a Ferrari.
Sorry? You got given a Ferrari?
Well, yeah.
Ferrari engine suppliers, I'm guessing.
What colour? Red?
It's red, yeah. It's on my YouTube
Is it? Oh,
video,
well,
so
well,
you
we'll
can see.
check that.
What model? What make? What are we talking?
It's a 296 GTB, so it's incredible. Yeah, it's like
Is it-
dream coming true.
Is it nice to drive? Is it like really
It's
smooth?
incredible.
And really?
Yeah, it's really smooth when you want, but it's incredibly fast when you want as well. It's I had no words, when I just get rid of the cover. It was a wow,
God, that is a perk of the job. That is a perk of the
Well,
job.
the answer I thought I was getting was going to be a watch or something like
Well,
that.
watch, as well. I mean, that's
No, I mean,
incredible.
you can't
you know.
compare
Cool.
that to a Ferrari, but that is cool.
That is very cool.
It's got a lot,
That's
lot
awesome.
going on.
There's a
that
lot
watch,
going on, yes,
though.
yes.
How do you even? I couldn't even tell the time on that.
Yeah, that's
Show it to the
time.
camera, Esteban, because that's.
So that's the time,
Oh.
and that's the globe on it.
Oh.
So that's the GMT. So basically, that's French time, and that's the current time now.
Oh, great.
The technology
for
to
you.
think of. Is that
not that
sponsors do that? Watch?
It's my
No.
personal.
I
It's
thought
your
my
personal
personal
watch.
watch.
He's not joking.
Stu's like, no.
Thought we
It
were
looks like it is the team sponsor though, because it's matching colors,
It's
but
matching
it's my
colours.
personal
If
sponsor.
the
yeah.
watch company wants to sponsor the podcast, we can plug it more, don't you? Don't worry about that. That'd be great.
Stu's like, oh my God.
Esteban, before we let you go, we should ask one Formula One question because we haven't really got round to that yet. But you got a new teammate, you're in a new team. Haas had a great season last year, a proper sort of revival under Aya Komatsu. What are you going into looking for this season? What's Haas's aim for 2025?
Well, first of all, when I was talking with Ayao, I straight away wanted to be on board with that plan, that he had. And, that one of the biggest reason that I came in was, thanks to Ayao, because I've worked with him as my first race engineer in the past. And in 2014, actually, that was him that made me drive in Abu Dhabi in FP1. And because of that, I know, how competitive he is, how involved he is, with the whole team. And what I've seen now only validates, what I thought earlier. And it's just, great to be able to be on board of this team. They are moving forward so well. They are really investing in a lot of different areas. And I hope that this year is going to be even better than last year's, for the team. And we are going to work super hard, to progress from where we start.
Al came on our podcast and he was so impressive. But have you gone rock climbing with him yet, by the way?
It was the plan, so I've bring my engineer, but Ayao unfortunately was very busy, but we are going to reschedule it again. I think he's going to kill me at rock climbing, which I'm a bit worried about.
Because he said he loves it on the podcast, didn't he?
Yes, he went to the Olympics in Paris as well, see a friend of his climbing, but he's super competitive at everything he does, and it's just great to see, having someone wanting to win so bad. It's definitely, a very common point with me.
Yeah.
The extremely well colour coordinated Esteban Ocon. That's how I will forever remember you now.
They are very cool.
Thank
they
you.
Are very cool.
So cool.
It's my girlfriend's present.
Yeah.
Oh, what
great
a
present.
great present.
Great present.
Thank
We
you.
really appreciate you coming on the podcast. We hope you have a great season. Hopefully we can catch up with you later on in the season.
Thank you very much.
Thank
and all
you.
the best to you guys.
Oh,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Enjoy Take That.
Yes,
Report
sure.
back.
And Esteban, never forget where you're coming from.
I know, that's the most important.
That's the most important thing.
Yes.
That's one of their lyrics.
It's a lyric. He's not just giving you a motivational speech, but
But that is an important one. And if one day I forget, where I'm coming from, I allow you to give me a slap. So my ideas come back straight. Okay?
hey, I'll take that. We're keeping this
I
up.
allow you to do. You have it on camera. So if one day that changes, I'm going to put my ideas back
I
straight.
could never do that. You're too much of a nice man. Esteban, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Likewise.
Esteban.
Thank you very much.
Love Esteban. I love Esteban. He's so nice. He's so just classically French and nice.
He's a
isn't he?
really lovely guy, and we've wanted him back on the podcast for a long time. We've had lots of new people with us recently, which we'll get onto in a minute. Somebody's in a right old
Sorry,
rush behind
that
us.
just really distracted
Yeah.
me. This woman just darted across.
You probably saw on
Just
YouTube, if
sprinting.
you're listening on the podcast, someone ran past us. Oh, ran to the loo.
Oh, well, I hope she's okay.
I hope she's okay.
Thoughts and prayers
Thoughts with
that
that
woman.
lady. We've wanted Esteban on for a long time because he was on the very first episode, because he just seems like a lot of fun. And he was lovely. He was really, really nice. And also, big season for him, because let's be honest, things went a bit sour at Alpine. Like, I actually think that the rivalry between him and Gasly was overplayed. I think they did a decent job as teammates, but it did feel like Alpine backed Gasly, and it felt like they'd left Ocon in the cold.
And the fact that he left with one race to go.
Yeah, that was just awkward.
It just shows what was happening. But it's a fresh start for him. And he seems positive and he seems happy.
Yeah, and Haas are on the up, so it's a really big opportunity here for him to, I wouldn't say rebuild his career, but for him to sort of re-establish himself as a sort of driver that could be in the market for a bigger seat if it were to come up in future. But he's not going to have it easy, because Ollie Behrman, I think, won't be at any pushover as a teammate. So that's a really interesting one to watch with Haas this season.
Yeah,
Great
exciting.
to speak to Esteban.
Should we get back to F175? Because
we
there
should.
was, tonight it was all about the liveries, of course. And it is mad to think, actually, that so many people were sat in the O2 Arena. I don't know how many thousands, but it's a lot of people.
900.
900,000? Knowledge.
No, it wasn't 900,000. That'd be nearly a million people.
Oh, God. Sorry, I'm tired. It's been a really long day.
It has been a long day. It has been a long day.
All these people are sat in this arena watching cars. Like, it is quite a weird thought, isn't it? But
Well, sorry. Like, there was various points where, like, you sat in an arena and the cars, they're completely inanimate objects on their own for like a good 30 seconds are just being wheeled down a catwalk. You're like, yes, it's a car.
And,
welcome car, yes.
And also, I think, like, if you were sat at home watching this, how did you explain it to, like, your friends? Like, by the way, guys, I'm just going to sit here for 2 hours and watch all of these cars get wheeled out onto a stage, spun around a little bit, maybe lifted up in the air. A DJ was playing for one of the cars to walk out.
Oh, so that was Alpine.
That was Alpine, yeah.
Alpine was, I don't know how this came across at home, in the arena, I sound like a granddad here. Greg always says I sound like a granddad, so I'm really going with my reputation. That was very loud, I thought, Alpine's intro.
Yes, it was a bit loud.
It really was loud.
Even I was sat there, and do you know what, guys? I'm still in my 20s, so we're in our prime over here. But even I was sat there going like, oh, this is a little bit loud now.
It
Like,
was really
I can't
loud.
even hear myself think.
Alpine was one of the more ones, but I liked the James Bond Aston Martin.
Wasn't my favourite, but that was up there as one of my favourites.
Yeah.
By a long shot. I think that was really good, really slick. I really liked it. Of course, Ferrari worked. Ferrari was brilliant. And the anticipation.
Ferraris did just remind me, we'll come back to that in a minute, did just remind me I must get my printer fixed. That's all I'm saying with the Ferrari one. Yeah, I must get my printer fixed.
If I was being brutally honest, and I was really going to, critique Ferrari's performance out there, the HP ruined the vibe. Didn't go.
Ruin the livery.
No, not the livery. The livery was beautiful, but just the vibe of the stage. Like, because it was all cool and red and it all worked, and then suddenly they had this big HP logo shoved in the middle.
Yeah,
That was my thought.
it is quite Curry's PC world, isn't it?
Yeah, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Sort of jars with me a little bit. You loved a livery though, didn't you? There was one that really stood out for you.
One that hugely stood out. Jack Whitehall made a joke at the start of the night. He was like, only Formula One could put on an event like this for a load of liveries that won't actually change at all. Great point. Like, barely any of them changed. We just mentioned Aston. We enjoyed the James Bond theme. It's fundamentally the same car. A Sauber at the start, fundamentally the same car. But I'm still not fully sure of the team's name. RB, Racing Bulls, whatever you want to... Visa, Cash App, RB, Minardi, AlphaTauri, Toro Rosso. That team, yeah. Beautiful livery. Now that is a good old-fashioned livery launch where they did used to change a bit. And we've got white back. We thought... So this time last year, they were all trying to weight save, so they all stripped the paint off and they were all carbon. Notable that Alpine have gone back to being a pretty blue with a lot more pink for their sponsor.
Yeah,
great.
very nice.
Alpine looks great, even if it was loud. But the AlphaTauri, Visa, Cash App, RB, Racing Bulls, buy one, get one free. That beautiful white livery.
Yeah,
Lovely
that's
to have a
nice.
white livery. That is stunning. And you said all day their kit looks great.
I'm obsessed with their kit. I'd be going out buying that. I mean, I might go out and buy that. Who knows? Depends what I feel like.
Sorry, we just mentioned Aston as well. Aston, well, particularly Lance Stroll, who we'll get onto in a moment, but Lance, when he was on stage, used a term that has been a big part of Fast and Curious history in terms of debating. He called the livery a she.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't
That
like
jars
that?
with me as well. You like that, though, don't you?
I call everything a she, though, because I think the females are the more competent race. So not race, gender, thank you. So I think I just call everything a she. I think that's the homosexual thing as well. We like it, calling
Maybe.
things a she, yeah.
But I did really enjoy speaking to Lance Stroll earlier today because I've never spoken to him before. I don't know huge amounts about him, apart from sort of what he shows in the media, which is quite closed off, very sort of relaxed, private, doesn't give a lot. So it was brilliant to be able to actually sit down and try and get inside his brain a little bit. Lance Stroll, welcome to the Fast and the Curious. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I was wondering, how did you get here today? Because we got the tube, didn't we, Christian? And all we saw on the way here was your face planted everywhere. Like massive posters of your face. Did you see it?
I didn't see my face in the tube station. No, I came by car. Probably should have come by tube, though. It was a long drive from central London, so a lot of traffic, a lot of people coming tonight.
There's 20 drivers. The tube is dominated by you. 85, 90% of the people coming here tonight will be coming by tube. Before you've even got on stage, people are seeing you here. Like, you can't get away from you. It's ridiculous.
The marketing team did a good job.
Is this your doing? Did you say to the marketing team, look, lads, get my face on there?
No, I think the team was just like, we're gonna take this over. Like, we're gonna make it all green.
I would like to be on the tube, please. If somebody could sort that out, I would like to be on the tube, specifically speaking. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Are you excited for tonight? Are you a fan of Take That?
Yeah, I mean, it's an exciting night for sure. Show the car to the world for the first time. It's, a lot of work always goes into, making the car, and so much time and effort all winter from everyone back at the factory. So, it's going to be a cool moment for sure.
We spoke a bit about music with Esteban Ocon, who was on the podcast before you, and this is one of the few events of the year where music mixes with Formula One. I'm interested to know, if you were doing the booking for an event like this, who would you book music-wise?
For, if I had in the O2.
If you had the control of this event.
And you could answer this in two ways. You can go your favourite or what you think would please the
Probably
crowd.
Drake. Drake.
Oh, yeah.
Drake concert
Great
would be a good
shout.
time here. Just, thinking Canada and Drake. Everyone likes Drake. So.
Everyone does like Drake.
Have you got a favourite type?
Except Kendrick Lamar, he doesn't like Drake.
Kendrick Lamar doesn't like Drake.
No.
That
No,
famously
hates each other. But then everyone could do that walk, couldn't they? That Kendrick Lamar did at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Drake would be a good time for sure.
Do you do music before a race to fire you up?
I do. Not always to fire me up, but sometimes to just get in the zone, Varies. Sometimes it's Drake, sometimes it's someone else.
You feel like a very chilled guy. You feel quite level. Is that right?
I mean, we're here till 10 o'clock and it's what, 4?
I know.
So-
Do you know
20
what?
to 5, so it's a bit
Yeah.
later than you thought.
So yeah, just
Yeah, it's been a long
cruising
day.
through the afternoon.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know the different playlists of the different drivers as you go down the grid. Betty's already decided you were going to be quite a chilled playlist. I'm interested to know what you think like other drivers and other personalities might be.
Yeah, let's get out the old blower and see.
The
what I'm
old
listening
blower.
Oh, this is
to.
great. For those only listening to the podcast, Lance is checking his phone
Yeah.
to see latest tracks he's listening to.
So like, got a bit of Team Bay going this morning.
Oh, nice.
What's this
It's
track,
like-
an artist?
T-Pain.
T-Pain. This is like kind of coming out of the shower this morning, getting ready.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, chilled.
I'll send it
That is
over to you.
It's chilled.
Yeah, do, please.
Yeah, but it varies, you know. Sometimes it's like kind of more intense, like, oh, we can be here for a minute. I mean, I got a
Yeah,
lot of stuff, you
I
know.
like talking about music.
What
Also,
else
you've been
am I
talking about
listening
Formula 1 all
to?
day.
Yeah, we're giving
What
you a
else
break.
am I listening to? Drake. I mean, yeah, it's all that stuff.
Okay. We are sat in the podcast room here at F175, which is fundamentally a meeting room with 3 chairs in it. It's very lovely.
Feels a bit hot.
It's a bit warm.
It
isn't
is
Bit
warm
hot,
in here.
yeah.
We were sat with you while you were doing your open media sessions, which is basically when you sit in front of a laptop and journalists from all around the world chat to you. We've witnessed a few of these because we've been doing shakedown interviews at McLaren and at Williams. Yours was by far the funniest because you were asked what all the drivers are asked about at the moment, which is the FIA swearing ban. But one of the journalists on the call made the point that this isn't an FIA interview. So like this, we can do what we like. And now I'm aware that you guys as drivers might be fined if you swear this year. I'm not going to ask you what you think about it like everybody does. But one thing I would say is you can do what you like here. So if you did think while you're in an interview to reduce the chances of being fined, we'll beep it out. It's entirely pre-recorded. Is there any swear words you want to say just to get it out your system? And then it's out your system by Bahrain. You don't have to worry about it. You're not going to get fined. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, you just want me to start swearing right now?
If you want to.
What-
if you want to get it out
what's
your
your-
I'm
system.
good. I don't have to swear right now.
Okay,
I'm
fine,
good, you know,
fine.
He's
like-
got it out of his system
but-
already.
It's a spoiler. Lance
It's
was
gonna
asked.
be challenging for sure in the heat of the moment this year to just, you know,
Yeah.
Right, so
keep it in check.
me and Betty
but-
work in broadcasting.
Yeah.
We are swearers, aren't we?
Oh, I love a swear. Like,
Yeah.
I love a
I
swear.
love a swear word.
And I appreciate a lot of people don't, so,
Yeah,
you know,
fine.
you have to keep it under
We're gonna
lock.
have to be on our best behavior, I guess.
Also,
See how that goes.
well, neither of us have got kids, and I don't know about you, but like we had people around the other day that bought kids, and it makes you realise how much you swear. It's terrible. Like it's like, oh God, there's a small human here, so I can't.
I know.
So I'm really sympathetic with these guys. I swear all the time. Now you can't swear because you'll offend Johnny Herbert's grandkids. It's awful.
Yeah, well, you can't do that. But it must be so hard when you're in a car going, you know, that fast. You know, you're in a stressful environment and you're trying to watch what you say because there's a bloody microphone on your mouth.
Yep.
That's hard.
Yep. It is. It is.
You already swore in the question.
We'll
Yeah,
see
it
how
did,
that
didn't
goes.
Well, we wish you well with
The
it.
fun hasn't started yet.
Good luck to you.
Yeah.
One question that I really did want to ask you is, what is it like having your dad as your boss? Because for me, that would be my worst nightmare.
It's pretty awesome.
Is it?
He's a good boss. Yeah. I mean, no, he's you know, built an incredible facility in Silverstone and is, you know, putting an amazing team together, and just supports me every day, you know, in every way he can. So it's pretty awesome.
That is a brilliant answer. That is a brilliant
Excellent.
answer. Have you ever been just like, oh, just shut up. I can't be bothered with this right now with him, or do you not have that relationship? Is that just me and my family?
Is this a Betty Glover therapy session?
Yeah, I
here?
don't know.
We have those moments for sure. I think he's, you know, kind of over the years gotten to know like when it's time to let me do my thing and, you know, leave me alone, and, you know, when it's time to chop it up and like, yeah, you know, talk business. And yeah, we have a good balanced relationship with all that. So it's pretty cool.
Full of respect for you because I love my dad. Like he's amazing. We get on so well.
So do I. Can I just clarify?
Yeah,
But
I think you
just
should actually.
could not work
Good
with him.
save
You
there.
say that. I think you should. Because unlike Betty, I love my dad. Hi, Dad, if you're watching. But we
almost
do.
threw yourself under
I
the bus
did,
there.
I
for a
did.
sec.
I've never seen her jump in an interview quicker.
I do love
love
my dad.
Dad, I love you. When's Father's Day? You're going to get something extra this year.
No, big
But
time.
No, I bicker with mine, and I feel like one thing I'd be holding my dad to account is like he's not helped Lance with the choice of teammates. It's like Sebastian Vettel, 4-time world champion. You're like Seb retires, thinking, who are you putting in next? Fernando Alonso. Yeah, cheers, Dad. Who will just never retire? Who will just be? This is the most stable driver lineup in F1 because Fernando will be driving until he's 55. I'm quite convinced about that. The man just never ages.
Yeah, no, it doesn't look like he's getting much older for sure.
No, looks good for his age though. To
Yeah.
be
He looks
fair.
great.
I don't know
for his age.
what health plan he's on or something. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a good
can you,
question,
Can you
right?
find out
yeah.
for us and let us know because
What's he eating for breakfast?
There's no little lift over anywhere. Do you don't think if it's
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
no, because he looks like rugged as well. Do you know what I mean? But in a good way.
And also, Lance, as well, you're an experienced head in F1. You know, you are one of these drivers that I still think, someone that's like, I've been watching this sport since I was a tiny kid. So I think like Lance Stroll, you think, oh, you're one of the newer drivers. But you've been around many years now. You're an
Calling
experienced...
me old over there, bud?
Yeah. How's F1 changed since you've been around? What are the big differences? Because, I mean, surely even something like this, you're about to be put on stage at the O2 later.
You're making it sound like back when I started, we were still wearing the old goggles and like the frickin' helmet, you know? It was
the big Ocon.
It was like 8 years now? So 8th or 9th?
When you started
Nice.
racing against Nigel Mansell, how different was it?
Fangio back in the mirror, you know?
But it has to. It's like you've been around
That's a
nearly
legit
decade.
question for Fernando, though.
Fernando, it really is. Yeah.
That's a legit question.
Yeah. But it's changed in a decade, hasn't it?
It has, for sure. I think a lot more of this stuff is like the big thing that's changed just today, like the whole car launch and how much, fan attention there is to this part of the sport. Whereas like when I started, it was more just racing fans, and now there's like a whole Netflix fan base, and just friends, mutual friends, whatever, that like never really watched F1. They started watching Netflix, and now they're into it, and they're gonna have the TV on tonight, and these kind of events and stuff has grown over the years and become a bigger part of our sport, which is a good thing. I think it's great for teams, for the exposure for Formula One, for everyone. So that's, I guess, been the biggest change I've seen is how much more exposure the sport has now, like just globally and eyeballs and all that. And then the cars have changed, over the years. Now we have these ground effect cars, which is very different to what I started with. And a few more gray hairs on my head, but not too many.
Not
yet.
too many.
No, I
Not too
can't
many
see
tall.
any
Little
grey
things
hairs,
like
to be
that,
honest.
you know?
No, that's something I'm
looking good.
worried about at the moment, trust me. But yeah, even
Little
F1,
things
there's
like
even F1
that.
drivers on the tube now. That's how much it's changed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
little
well.
things like that. But yeah, I think it's great that so many more people have taken interest in what we do, because it's awesome. We race fast cars around the world, and it's cool to see more people tuning in, watching that. But it's also like, for sure, 24 races and the rest of it, it's busy, but yeah, we like it. We like it.
Do you know, it's really nice to see the smile on your face when you say it's cool. We race
Yeah,
cool cars all over the world. And I think sometimes in the pressure cooker, people can forget that, can't they?
Yeah.
You must still love it because it is the most ridiculous but coolest sport in the world. Like this travelling circus that goes around the world. It must be. Do you ever still have these moments like, God, I'm a part of this?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like when you stop for a second and look at it, and it's like, yeah, we're sending race cars around the world, and just putting fuel in and
Off you go.
sending it.
Just simple as that. Just put a bit of fuel in.
It's pretty wild. But yeah, at the same time, you're like so immersed in the season and just kind of like focusing on the next track, the next corner, the next lap, and it's like it's full on. Like it's pretty nonstop.
If you weren't a racing driver, what would you have been, do you reckon?
That's a good question. I want to say like something in sports, like maybe a golfer, but the way I'm hitting the ball right now, no chance. So like something else.
What's your
I don't
handicap?
know. let's not talk about this right now.
Are you bad
Very
at golf?
fragile.
That's the
topic.
one question
Yeah.
Lance
Very
refused to answer.
Topic.
I've heard you're a good
It
tennis
was single digit, but
Oh, it's gone up, has it?
Heard you're,
Yeah.
heard you're a good tennis player as well,
yeah,
right?
be careful. Don't believe everything you read.
Well, were you
no.
one of...
Be
No?
careful. You don't believe in everything you read. No, I'm really not that good at tennis. Someone came up with that. I don't really know
Oh, I would
how
take
that started
it.
brewing.
I'd be like,
No.
Take
I'm
one of
not-
those kids
I'm not
that's
that
good
good.
at, like, the
not
people
that
that...
good.
Oh, I'm terrible at all sports,
Yeah.
but, like, the kids in PE, you could just do everything.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, God, I
Yeah.
presumed you'd be one of those.
Yeah. No, I mean, I always grew up playing a lot of sports for sure. They were like saying I was going on the ATP World Tennis Tour. Am I good enough to do that? No.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no,
Wait,
I'm
who
not.
said that?
Someone came up with this. Like,
That's so weird.
it was Crofty. Crofty said it.
Crofty said it.
Yeah. Pulled that one out of somewhere. I don't
Well,
really know where. But
Just finally, Lance, we're here you've entered
Definitely
Wimbledon
not.
this year. Talk to us a little bit about this.
this Wimbledon. Oh, here we go. Funny guy. Funny guy.
Lance, just finally, we should ask you at least one Formula One question. Appreciate you haven't even done pre-season testing yet, but what are
Yeah.
you thinking for this year? What's maximum you can be, minimum you could be? Where are you going to shake out this season? do you
Yeah,
think?
such a hard question to answer. Everyone wants to win the race in Australia. You know, that's the goal. But I think we're only going to really know realistically where we sit kind of come Bahrain. And then even Bahrain, you don't really see everyone's true colors until the first race. So, you know, it's for us, it's about building on last year. You know, we're not where we wanted to be the second half of last year. We kept trying to make the car faster, but we were just going backwards. So a lot of the work that has gone into this year's car has been addressing, you know, the things that we've learned last year and why everything we were bringing to the car wasn't like progressing, wasn't working. And I think, you know, that's what's really exciting about everything we got going on is really just the changes we're making to try and learn from the mistakes we made last year. And is that going to help us be much more competitive this year? Don't know the answer
we're
to
going to
that
find out,
question.
aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to find
We
out.
wish you really well with it. Like, it's
Thank
been
you.
really nice chatting to you and get to know you a little
Yeah.
bit. Really go well this year, because if you think back to a couple of years ago, like the rise of Aston Martin was such a fantastic part of the Formula One season.
Yeah.
So, like, we're buzzing for you guys to get back up there, and yeah, wish you a really
Yeah.
great season.
Cheers. Go Team Green.
Go Team Green.
Good stuff.
That is a very Canadian thing to say. I feel like you should get your pom-poms out. Go Team Green!
Lance Stroll making his debut on the Fast and the Curious. I really enjoyed speaking to Lance. I thought it was interesting to see him warm up a little bit and I think
Yeah.
relax into the chat a little bit, and he was very funny and he's not afraid to have a laugh, and Lance gets his critics in F1. There's no sort of point denying that, but he was really sort of lent into having some fun with us and was genuinely very dry and funny, and I really appreciated it.
Yeah, also, just like, when I first started working within the sport, what I couldn't quite grasp is how much media the drivers have to do. So you might hear them do our interview and then maybe like Sky and someone else, but they've got 2 different press conferences to do, another interview and another interview. So when we actually sat down with Lance, he had already done quite a lot of media. We'd watched him do 2 press conferences.
And it's tiring talking.
One live, one on Zoom, where he's getting asked so many like grilling, deep Formula One questions, which actually at this stage they can't really completely answer.
But they've no idea. They
So-
haven't driven the cars properly yet.
They're a bit knackered and they're just like, but he sat down and he did have a good chat with us, and I really enjoyed getting to know him a bit.
Yeah, thank you to Aston Martin, thank you to Lance, that was really, really nice. So we mentioned Aston's livery earlier, we only briefly mentioned Ferrari, we should talk about them a little bit more.
Oh.
Aside from HP being quite prominent off of printers, I have to admit, I didn't think I would feel this, having seen the pictures. Like, we've all seen Lewis stood in front of the old house and all of that, but seeing Lewis walk onto the stage in front of us,
no, our lad's back again.
oh God, it's our man back, the drunk man from the start's back. We might have to get rid of him. Are we gonna? No,
He's
we'll carry
gone.
on. He's
He's
fine.
gone.
He's gone.
He's okay.
And he's a Ferrari fan, ironically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he was. Yeah, that was the point of the night where I felt most grateful to be there.
Oh.
Very grateful to be there. Full stop. But
It was iconic.
yeah, seeing Lewis walk out on stage in red, in person in front of us, we both said at the time that was a goosebumps moment, and I actually
Yeah.
didn't expect it would be.
The noise in the arena when Lewis, he got introduced, but then he sort of took the microphone and said, "Hello, everybody." And honestly, the noise, it just erupted in there. And like, it was goosebump moments because that is iconic. We're never going to, what is this lad doing?
In the nicest possible way, go away. Thank you very much. Cheers then. Bye-bye. Good evening. There's somebody in the background waving. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Do you know what I love about this event? Everyone's let loose. They've
Everyone's
all
let
had a
loose.
lot
I
of
tell
beer.
you what, there's been some beers consumed at the O2 Arena for a Tuesday night, I can tell you.
Yeah, it's all right, isn't it?
What were you saying?
Good for them. Just that moment, Lewis Hamilton, the arena erupting, like that is iconic. That is Sir Lewis Hamilton walking out in Ferrari red with the new Ferrari livery, Charles Leclerc there. Oh, it was just that is unforgettable. That is iconic.
But also, Mercedes are fascinating because, I don't mean this to sound harsh, it was a slightly more, I wouldn't say muted, but a slightly more level Mercedes reaction in the arena. But I think they could be underdogs because George is still popular. Kimi's this hot shot, which in any normal season, such a hot shot, that could go wrong, couldn't it? Hot shot coming in would be a massive story. But with Lewis, it's sort of gone under the radar.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of, it was a bit like the arena was like, oh, we're not quite sure what to make of Mercedes now. Other than Toto was very, very popular.
Toto was very popular. Kimi Antonelli was very popular.
He
a lot
was.
of people were shouting for him. Like, I think he will be a really popular driver this season, and one that a lot of people are really looking forward to seeing because, like you said, not quite sure what to expect. Everyone's bigged him up for such a long time. You know, like people within the sport have said he's going to be a legendary driver. He looks like one of the best.
He looks so small on stage,
He
and
looks
I'm not, and
tiny.
I'm not trying to be harsh or nasty here. He looks so small, and it sort of reminds you that this is literally a kid, not far off being a kid. He looks like a kid, and I'm not trying to criticise. He's so young, and he's being thrust into this stage and this sport. It's going to be fascinating because seeing his small physical stature reminds you of the size of the task.
He owned it though. He
Oh, he
owned
owned
that
it.
environment. That could have been really daunting.
Betty Glover, we've debriefed very well. We've heard from a couple of drivers. I think that's about all we've got time for tonight. Before we go, I would just like to say a huge thank you to Formula One for inviting us to what turned out to be a really cool event. When I was a kid, you didn't get to see Formula One. Like I've said on this podcast before, we couldn't afford to go to races. We went to like 2 in my entire childhood. So any, I think, events that brings the sport out there to people, I'm a fan of. So it's easy, I think, to come on social media and be quite sarcastic about events like this. But I think they did a really good job. It looked cool. It's an opportunity to see F1 drivers and F1 cars in the flesh. We need more of that in the sport. So I think it was a really great event. And as the Fast and the Curious, we're grateful for F1 for inviting us here.
Yeah, there were a lot of fans there watching today that may have not gone to Grand Prix or had the opportunity to go to Grand Prix. So it's really cool they got that. But thank you so much for listening and watching the Fast and the Curious podcast. Please subscribe, follow us, download us, comment, do whatever you need to do.
Leave us a nice review.
Yeah, do it. 5 stars, guys. I think we deserve it. It's past 10. I should be in bed.
Yeah, it's late on a school night. We've also had a huge reaction to our last 2 episodes with Williams and McLaren at the Shakedown. If you've shared video clips, if you've been in touch with us, we really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Also want to say a massive thank you to Haas and Aston Martin for letting us speak to their Formula One drivers. We know you like it when we get to speak to F1 drivers. We love it too. So thank you to Haas and Aston Martin. And me and Greg will be back next week to debrief pre-season testing. And then we are just, moments away for getting going proper. Like actual starting racing cars again. Can you believe it?
I'm so excited.
And you just can't hide it.
I just can't hide it. Right.
Are you
we
about
need
to lose
go.
control?
Yeah.
I think I
am
like
about
it.
to.
I like it. That's it from us. We're back next week. Please leave us a nice comment, like and subscribe. And we'll be back soon on The Fast and the Curious. From the O2 Arena in London, good evening.
Bye.